So I went into this thinking it was going to be just another Disney movie, and I came out thinking that Disney has quite a bright future if it decides to take more risks like Cruella does.
Don't worry, there's lots more bad things coming.
Hey guys, it's Jim and welcome back to my channel, a place for movie geeks, and we are talking about Cruella. Here are 5 reasons that I think Cruella is actually a triumph. I don't think the film is fantastic, I don't love the film, but I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty darn good in some areas, and I think for the experiment it was a triumph. Let me know what you think of these 5 points and let me know what you think of Cruella in the comments below. It's ambitious. This movie changed my perspective on these Disney remakes and, these recent Disney live action movies. It made me think that it was worthwhile to do a prequel on Cruella, and that's a huge achievement. It made me excited because it shows Disney are prepared to actually progress and try and reinvent their, franchises and their classic movies. A lot of people like to say, why are they touching these movies? Why are they doing this? I'd much rather see them do this than just present them in live action. I'd much rather see them try and reinvent and do a different spin, different take, a progressive kind of slant, an ambitious, creative slant, and try something new and take us places we hadn't seen in those old films, because at least that's doing something different other than just making these films. And I thought it was an interesting discussion that they kind of approached in this movie, and I feel like Cruella at times was very unlikable and Cruella at times was very likeable. And I'm always interested in that, I'm always interested in discussion of people who aren't entirely good. And I'm glad Disney's tried to do that. This is a risk. This is a risk. I'm glad Disney took a risk. Because everyone's talking about, Disney, they're just doing the same thing over and over again to get money. Well, not really. They've actually took a risk here, like it or not. And I've come out liking it. I'm glad they went, let's try and do something different. Let's try and focus on a character, and not have it be black and white and not have it just be a straight up remake. I give them credit for that. They make you root for Cruella. I think one of the best things the film does is it makes Estella, who is, you find out Cruella's not actually the name of the character, it's the name she adopts for a more crazy side. So it positions Estella as the underdog, and that immediately provokes some sympathy. And you immediately start realising the reasons she does things. And she has the traumatic events that lead her down a path of meeting these two, friends, not even henchmen, friends, Jasper and Horace. And they build a friendship and they build this kind of little scallywag gang of going around and pulling cheap cons. But you don't sit there thinking it's bad, because this was kind of all she had to do, and she kind of has a little family with Jasper and Horace and her dogs, and they're like have a fun little existence, although they're doing crime. And again, that's interesting to me. It might not be for other people, but I like the idea of just in a muddy world seeing how bad things can be done by people who aren't entirely bad, by people who are just trying their hardest to get through and didn't have the fair start in life. I'm not excusing crime, but I'm just sitting there thinking that not always bad people do crime. We see Estella when she's, younger, and then we see Estella when she's a little bit older. So we follow her journey, and she's quirky, she's fun, but we see that she's been dealt a bad hand, and we see how she could possibly go down a bad path. And it's provoked by anger, really, in this. And I think the way it's written, the script does really well in just pinpointing little moments where you understand why she might have gone over the edge. You don't support it, but you understand. I've heard a lot of people say we can't root for Cruella because what she goes on to do in 101 Dalmatians, make some coats out of those lovely little doggies. The way that I defend that, because all the stuff she goes through in this, she's still a little bit of a decent person, even though she is a little bit evil. How would she then cross over after she's just kind of elevated herself and come to terms with who she is, come to terms that she's not all good, she's not all bad, but then in 101 Dalmatians she just bloody goes for it, just goes over the edge and goes to kill those Dalmatians. To be honest, I took this as kind of a reinvention. I didn't really think of 101 Dalmatians following. And that's just me, because a lot of people will be furious. They'll be going, oh, how can it be this? How can you like her? She goes on to do this. For me, I was just looking at this as a single film. Because the way it's approached, the way it's executed, it's kind of creating a new path for the character. So maybe this Cruella doesn't go on to do that. Maybe this Cruella doesn't go on to do that in 101 Dalmatians. And people are going to say, well, that's Disney destroying their lore, destroying this and that. Well, the film exists, and what do you want? Do you just want Disney to just bring out another 101 Dalmatians that's just the same? Or do you want to see them actually present Cruella differently, change things up, change the route of the character, make you think about things differently, show some ambition, some creativity? I prefer that. So, yeah, I mean, when you start thinking about it, if 101 Dalmatians did happen, how would Cruella end up that way? How could you carry on liking her? I don't know. But in this context, you can like her. In this film, you can like her because she hasn't done all that shit yet. We also understand how she could have ended up like this. Again, this is trauma. You know, it's a film about trauma. You know, and you can see the vulnerability behind the bravado. Cruella is essentially a character created to mask the pain inside. You can see the ego can be shattered in any second. Emma Stone is wonderful. Emma Stone is so convincing. It's a wonderful performance. I like mostly how she gives us the true difference between Estella and Cruella. There really is a Jekyll and Hyde thing going on between Estella and Cruella. She's so kind of sweet and endearing as Estella, but you see that little bit of visceral, you know, ambition behind her. Whereas Cruella, you know, is just going all out and having a ball with performance. It's a wonderful, biting performance, and her voice as the character, her look as the character, everything works. You needed someone who could deliver as Cruella, and she delivers 100%. I'm really impressed by the performance. And as I said, there are little moments of contemplation, little quiet moments for this character. Her little monologues to herself, you know, like she'll visit the site of where she had a tragic event, and she has this speech which I think is really, really great, but it's just her and the facial expressions and the way she lets it all out. Kind of liken this performance a little bit to Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman in Batman Returns. Kind of has that sort of energy to it, but this has probably got more layers than Michelle Pfeiffer. Well, it has. I love Batman Returns, I love Michelle Pfeiffer, but this has more layers. I'm not saying it's a better performance. I can see the similarities there in my opinion. It's so 70s. I'm a big fan of the 70s in film, in music, in pretty much everything, and this really does create a feel of the 70s. You know, there's, you know, the 70s fashion, the 70s look, the 70s vibe of the city. Just, you know, it really does feel like 70s, and there's a soundtrack that is 70s up the arse. When I first watched this, I thought to myself, it's kind of like Suicide Squad, where they're just constantly songs every few moments. Do I necessarily like that? But the thing is, I've had time to think about it. Suicide Squad, none of the songs made sense to the character. There's like Eminem there, like randomly popping up when they were kind of putting on their gear. Like, what? But all the songs in Cruella, I think you can have songs every few moments. They really do add to the vibe. They really do add to the energy of the film and the believability of it. Just the 70s style and aesthetic. You know, there's all sorts. There's Rolling Stones, there's the Zombies, there's Nancy Sinatra, Deep Purple, there's Tina Turner, and every song picked is relevant to the scene, and I really appreciated that. You know, it did bring back memories of Suicide Squad, like there was a song every few moments, but I thought all the songs are relevant, all the songs work, all the songs are from the time period, all the songs go along with whatever the scene is. They tell the story of the scene. Fashion, ego, and image. I found it fascinating because this film discusses the fashion industry and the ego behind it and the danger behind it, and I have no interest in the fashion industry. This made me interested. It gave me a look behind the curtain, really. Anyone who's involved and works in the fashion industry, I'm sorry if it's not like this. They just gave me, you know, like kind of one kind of look at it. There's kind of a very evil industry full of ego and full of image and full of hatred and ridiculous hierarchy and image obsession, you know, and I really hope it's not like this, but it was a fascinating thing to watch. You know, both sides, Cruella and obviously her nemesis in the film played by Emma Thompson, they're both so fragile. Their ego can just be destroyed in a second from someone not liking an outfit, or someone criticising them, or someone, you know, not buying their stuff. It's such a weird knife-edge industry in this, which I found fascinating to watch. Emma Thompson, every day she wakes up, she has to have that enforcement. She has to be better. She has to have everyone kissing her ass. She has to have that. It's incredible, you know. And I do enjoy seeing, you know, it did give me a respect for fashion. You know, there are some beautiful, and I'll say it, as a straight man, I will say this. So let's smash those gender roles. No, I'm joking, but I'm just saying, beautiful dresses, beautiful outfits, you know, just the presentation, that kind of bravado and swagger and that celebrity kind of industry going along with fashion. It is a very seductive thing to look at. It really, really is. I just hope the people who work in the real fashion industry aren't swept up in it like this, because it just takes all of that out of it and just actually makes it empty. At the core of it, very empty. You know, it's full of flashy outfits, as I say, and crazy stuff, and Cruella's interruptions of Emma Thompson. It's a battle of ego. It literally is a battle of ego. This film had a sense of punk rock excitement to it and rebellious nature, and it did fit in with the kind of Joker and Harley Quinn type vibe of world in movies that we're getting. So it was very timely. So we'll see if this movie does amazing or stands the test of time. Is it for kids? I don't, you know, I can imagine kids watching this, obviously, but I'd say it's more so for teenage girls, and I think it's for that Harley Quinn audience. It really, really is. But I think, you know, adults like me can appreciate it because it's pushing boundaries. Let me know what you think of my 5 reasons why Cruella is a triumph. Let me know what you think of Cruella in the comments below. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Please consider subscribing to this channel if you're a movie geek just like me, and we can discuss and geek out over our favourite thing, which is movies. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you guys next time.